As I was driving through the woods, I stumbled upon a singing tree. Oh my goodness.
Knowledge brings light, as singing tree lights your path. Come away with me on a journey of knowledge.
Let me tell you a story from the green tales of Singing Tree.
This is Africa.
Hello, children, all over the world. And hello to you too, dear Mumbi.
Great to be here with you too, Grandma Wura. And thank you for the apple pie. It was amazing. Now that I have a full belly, I'm ready for an amazing story, just like my pie.
Ah, yes, but today's green tale might feel a little scary. But I will try not to let it get too scary, but just as sweet as your pie. Now, sit tight and hold on to your belly full of apple pie as I take you on a journey of knowledge.
Uh-oh.
This is Africa.
Governor Kareem had been going to different communities to campaign for his run as governor. He made his new ideas known to the public, saying he would bring new solutions to their problems. The people were convinced that he could lead them well, and so he was elected as governor of Tufangi. On moving into his new office for his new term, Governor Kareem was ready to begin working on the plans to improve people's lives, as he had promised. He pinned his new plans and ideas onto a board in his office in order to review them with his team every week. One night, when Governor Kareem arrived home from the office, he saw a large and beautiful green tree near the entrance of his home. He realized never ever seen a tree on that spot before. Then thought maybe his wife had placed it there since she loved plants so much. So he moved closer to it, thinking he saw it move a little. As he got closer, he was astonished at how this tree immediately began to glow and transformed into a beautiful green lady. It was Singing Tree. At first, he thought he had taken too much coffee and was maybe hallucinating. But then Singing Tree said to him,
A new plant does not always mean that the old soil wouldn't generate growth.
After these words, she turned back into a tree and then disappeared. Governor Kareem was still in shock as he couldn't believe what had just happened. Back at work the next day, he wasn't able to shake off the words that Singing Tree had said to him. He was still trying to make sense of it all and understand what she actually meant. After a while, he brushed off the words and busied himself with the running of the state. He wasn't going to listen to a tree who had suspiciously said a few words of warning to him. Or was he? Well, it wouldn't hurt anyone, he said to himself. He then called for his personal assistant and asked him to bring the documents of the past governor of Tufangi. After he went through the documents, he came across a letter from the neighboring country informing the then governor of Tufangi of their plans to release their dams in the near future for excess water to flow out. The neighboring country had advised that since Tufangi shared borders with their dam, every citizen of Tufangi living in communities close to the border should be safely evacuated and taken to a safe zone until after the dam was done releasing the excess water that needed to be controlled by building a solid irrigation system. Governor Kareem was shocked to see that this document was dated 12 years ago, but none of the governors before him had done anything about it. He gave it a bit of thought, but also thought to himself that it wasn't much of a big deal as well. On the other hand, this would disrupt his plans, which he already had for Tufangi. So, he closed up the document and went back to working on his new plans and ideas with his team. That day, when he got back home, he had mentioned the 12-year-old document over dinner with his family and how he intended to move on with his plans for the state. But his daughter Tufu respectfully told him her opinion about doing the right thing and prioritizing the people's safety. At Tufu's words, he instantly remembered Singing Tree's words, which seemed to be in line with what Tufu had said. But again, he brushed these words off, thinking that Tufu was just a child and shouldn't be taken too seriously. Unknown to Governor Kareem, the neighboring state was gearing up to open their dams the following week, with the impression that Tufangi had made plans to secure and evacuate its citizens over the last 12 years, after the then governor had acknowledged receipt of their letter. The following week, when the dam was released, the closest communities to the border felt its impact the most. These communities were flooded and many had lost their homes. But it did not stop there, as the water continued to flow to the next state. The governor's office was completely flooded and lots of important documents were destroyed. Tufu watched the news with pain in her heart and thought how much her father could have saved the situation, if only he had listened to her. Governor Kareem felt so ashamed and very discouraged. He didn't know what else to do as the people's cries came up to him. But Tufu immediately urged her father that he could still find a way to contact the people in the villages and start supplying help to them. She told him that he could still do something about the situation.
Dad, you can't give up now. You can still do something. I believe in you.
This time, Governor Kareem did not think his daughter a child and very much regretted not listening to her and Singing Tree earlier. Instantly, he agreed with her and sprung into action immediately as he sent out rescue teams to help safely evacuate the people and provide them with temporary shelter till their homes were restored. Thankfully, the neighboring country informed Governor Kareem when he reached out to them that it was just a test drill and that they planned to release all of the water in a year's time. At that warning, Governor Kareem sent orders and instructions and gathered experts around the new project of building one of the greatest drainage systems in Africa.
All right, let's have the team start here before we move to the other community.
After a few days, the flood had gone down, for it had gotten sucked into the environment. New schools, hospitals, and homes were built in preparation for 1 year later, when the neighboring country would open up their dam. And when that time came, everyone living close to the borders had been safely moved elsewhere, and so houses were all empty. As a result, no life or valuable property was lost. Neighboring states to Tufangi were also protected and lives were saved due to Governor Kareem's proactive measures and solutions. He was famous in the whole of Africa as one of the best African leaders the continent had ever had. The end.
This is Africa.
In today's Green Tale, we learned that dams are like big drums used to keep a lot of water. And when it's emptied out, because it's like a lot of water, it could carry houses, cars, almost like a wave at the beach. Well, except your surfboard is your car. But this could end up in a tsunami, and that just isn't cool. I'll see you in the next Green Tale. Bye-bye!
This is Africa.
This podcast series is supported by Africa No Filter in partnership with MasterCard Foundation.